Hey folks, this is Gray here, and today we're kind of going to do like a summer update video in regards to the garden. I'll be honest with you folks, I've been so busy lately, I haven't really even had the time to really get out here in the garden as much as I'd like to, and the garden has been suffering from that, as well as the extreme heat, downpouring rains, bugs, and you name it. Everything in Zone 9B here in Florida is attacking everything that I'm trying to grow, mostly. Anyways, so in this video, I got some banana peppers to harvest. I want to give you guys a little bit of a tour of what's going on in the garden and how I'm dealing with some of it. And I think I have a Ichiban to pick as well. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I can think of in regards to things that I'll be harvesting this afternoon. Also, you'll notice I have this kind of like a blue thing behind me in regards to trying to offset the UV rays that are beating down on the garden itself. And we're just trying to do everything we possibly can to get through the summer in regards to the plants that we have growing. And my apologies, you'll probably hear a lot of panting in the background. The pup is doing I guess his thing out in the garden, eating grass and trying to eat my vegetables per se. But all in all, hopefully, a lot of you folks have probably been wondering what happened to the gardening and stuff like that. I think the last one I did was the carrots, which was a very, very successful grow, which was awesome. So I'll show you what we got planted. I know we got lots of herbs and spices and stuff like that. I kind of gave you guys some clues in the last video. So for you folks that like the gardening videos, stay tuned and enjoy this because as soon as summer's over, I have a master plan in the back of my head in regards to what I want to do. Because trying to grow tomatoes in the summer is really, really almost dang near impossible, it seems, here in my area of Florida. I'm trying. The cherry tomatoes are still going strong from last year, per se. And yeah, but all right, enough of the talking head. I'll show you guys what's going on in the garden and give you a little bit of an update. And are you guys growing this year in the summer? Are you guys having a summer crop? Some folks may or may not be growing during the summer months, but I figure for you folks up north in the northern regions, it doesn't get as hot as it get down here, but I know there is a lot of weather going on in lots of different places. So very curious if you have a garden right now, what you're growing, the types of vegetables or fruits or herbs or spices or whatnot, indoors or outdoors. Just like to hear that. Drop that down below and share with everyone, not only myself, but share with everyone else in the community what you got going on. I'm sure some of you folks probably got a lot more than I got going on. Anyways, folks, let's get to it. And I appreciate you guys taking the time to do this little garden tour with me. All right, folks, so before we get into the garden, I wanted to show you a couple of new additions. I bought this picnic table because I wanted to do videos outdoors, some of my review videos and whatnot. It was a raw picnic table. I went ahead and sealed it, and it looks really great. I'm liking it. So you'll see some of these videos coming, especially in the fall time. I'll be doing a lot of videos out here with the garden as a backdrop, which I think is really nice. And as you can see, I got this blue tarpy thing, canopy, whatever they want to call it, to try to protect the beds from the extreme UV rays that we've been getting here in Florida. And the only thing that we're having to contend with is kind of paying attention to the moisture content in the soil. So we're trying to stay on top of that. But all in all, it hasn't been too much of an issue. We did buy a cheaper version of this that used to be right out there, and the wind destroyed it. So yeah, you win some, you lose some. But anyways, as you can see here, we got a ton of banana peppers. I don't know if you can see all of them in there. Both of these plants, or all three of the plants themselves, are just littered with banana peppers, which we love. We like to pickle these and put them in the fridge, and we also store them. And it's one of my favorites. I know people like the hots and the spicy peppers and whatnot, but I'm a big fan of banana peppers. And I've had a lot more success growing these in a raised bed than I did a pot. I did have to stake this one because they get really heavy if you do a good job of growing them, because they're very bountiful. And I'm going to be harvesting those today. Also, if you want to check back here, we'll peek through those leaves there. We'll get a closer look at that one. That is an Ichiban eggplant. which they're long and cylindrical versus like the more the normal ones, the black beauties that you saw that we had growing last year. But not too much growing in this bed outside of a tomato plant that we'll go over and take a look at. A couple herbs over there, but I think we got some Thai basil. We do have, it's a late start. I know it's a late start. I know someone's gonna give me some grief about it, but it's a late start. See, this is what I have to deal with, folks. This is what I got to deal with. Anyways, there's 3 variations of okra that are in here, and we got a really late start on it. But as they grow, and they'll probably grow into the fall, I'm assuming, before we finally get the final harvest on okra. But they're doing okay. We direct sowed these, and they finally sprouted about a week or so ago, and they're starting to pick up in pace. All right, folks, so basically to kind of give you an idea of the struggles I'm having with tomatoes this year, see if that'll focus on that, that's the only tomato I've gotten out of this plant. Not only we had problems with bugs and a bunch of other stuff and heat, we've also had an issue with birds. As you can see, there's bird droppings right there that have created some issues as well. So we're dealing with a lot of different issues, but we're trying to do the best we can with what we have. And that's when I always talk about stuff like, you know, why do you have canned goods? Why do you have freeze-dried foods? Because let's say you have a really bad harvest, you know, and things go really south, or you know, you get flooded out, or something happens to your garden where you can't depend on your plants that year. You'll have some backup to sustain you to get you through that point. Moving forward from that, I'm going to try to come back in here and see if I can actually move this around. I'm actually going to harvest this, and I'll show you what I got. I can't get the camera in here. There's just not enough space, but I'm going to harvest that, and you guys can see the size of it down here. But it's a pretty good size Ichiban eggplant there. Anyways, the wife still has her yellow pear tomato still going. Surprisingly, it bounced back. We've had several harvests from this thing. It's the gift that keeps on giving, per se. And I'm trying to think of anything else I'm missing here. And I got some basil floating around in here. Basically, the basil that I have here, and I have some basil hidden in there. It's mostly companion planting, just like the that's Genovese basil, both of those guys over there, and like the Thai basil here, which always goes crazy because that's just what it does, as companion planting to the plants to try to keep the bugs off. The majority of the times things work. Sometimes they don't. You know, you can try everything that you can to offset some of the issues that you're running into your garden. And of course, if you guys have any questions at any time in regards to some of the companion plants that I use and why I use them, even if you're in a different zone, I could possibly give you some advice. I've learned a lot over the last 3.5, almost 4 years now. And of course, there's some marigolds floating around in there as well. But here, let me show you the damage between bugs and the birds. This used to be a tomato plant. And the birds will sit right here on this trellis and just, I guess, in layman or whatever terms you want to call it, but they just crap all over it. And I'm not sure if it's the acidity in their stuff or whatnot that's killing it, along with the bugs. But it's probably going to die off, is what my assumption is. And there's nothing I can really do about that at this point, other than, you know, look forward towards the fall garden in regards to our tomatoes. I have, like I said, big plans for that. But yeah, so we got the okra, some companion plants, some basil, lots of those banana peppers. You can see it from this side here as I scroll past the tomato plant here. There we go. But it has lots and lots of peppers on there. So it's doing really well. Speaking of peppers, let me show you guys something. You guys ever seen a 4-foot tall, maybe a little higher now, it's an heirloom Tabasco plant. Those are ready to harvest down there. Of course, they're super red. But look at this thing, folks. I'm going to back up a little bit. It's huge. It's a little over 4 foot when I measured it last time, but it is a heavy producer. So we're going to have lots of these. And I know I owe a friend of mine, if you watch this video, I used some seeds for this plant that you've been asking me for. But this thing has taken off. And it was almost dead. You know, we overwintered it, per se. And yeah, it exploded with growth this year and keeps on going. So we'll have lots of these heirloom Tabasco peppers. Right, so moving on from there, our raspberry is probably almost at its end. You know, between the heat and everything else, you can see there's still some on there. And I'm a little bit dementia because it's blackberries, not raspberries. Just because I saw red, and I just immediately went to raspberries. But it's our blackberry plant that we've had probably for almost 4 years now. And if I cut through in here, you can probably see there's some in there as well. And I think some on the upper branches and back that way. It's kind of intermingled with our elderberry plant here that's doing its thing for the summer, but it always bounces back every year. I can't wait till this thing starts producing elderberries, to be honest with you. I have it in a huge monster pot because I want to take it with me once we leave this location or this home. That's my wife's experimental pumpkin plant from last year. She buried an entire pumpkin in a pot to see what it would do. And of course the bugs are tearing it up, but it bounced back. So we'll see where it goes. But that's not the only pumpkin we have growing. That's not the only experiment my wife is doing. That was a cutting from the cherry tomato itself. And of course that cutting has gone crazy as well. So we'll go ahead and bounce over to the wife's bed. Basically herbs and spices and stuff like that, and a few other pollinators for the bees to come and hang out in here. And I know I can't wait to talk about this because I love, people always hate when I mention this, but that's mint, that's mint, that's mint, over there is mint, lots of different types of mints in this garden, and they're doing good. They're not being the aggressive mints that they usually are. As you can see, they're kind of lingering around where they want to be. Because we want to harvest a lot of different mints this year to make some tinctures and other things that we want to cook with. Folks, the snapdragons have died off. And another Thai basil plant, because the Thai basil just wants to go everywhere. Everywhere you look in my yard and every other plant around here, you'll find this Thai basil kind of floating around. But the reason I like it is the bees love it. The bees seem to love this plant. What else do we got in here? The rosemary is doing amazing as always. She is another gift that keeps on giving. I think she's going to be 2 years old this year. And is still blessing us with lots and lots of rosemary for dehydrating and cooking and all the little things that we do with that. The wife has an ivory eggplant in place of her other eggplant that she had last year. And if we go down here and here, if I get past the spider webs, it's starting to produce as well. And this, instead of like that purple flesh, these are more of a white flesh-based eggplant. She got a couple there, and there's some flowers rolling through there and whatnot. But as you can see, the salvia there is being obliterated by mealyworms as well as a lot of other things. And then we also had an issue with spider mites in the garden as well. So if it's not one thing, it's another, folks. Let me come over here to this section of the garden here. And my wife has some other pepper plants floating through here. Just kind of looking. Hey, did you hear that bird? See? They're mad because I'm in my garden, who they think is their garden. Anyways, and yes, I've thought about netting and stuff like that. It could be a bit pricey, but I think I'm going to get some of those little owls and try that as well. But we got several different pepper plants back there. This one here is a mini gypsy bell. It was stepped on and broken and obliterated, and it's bouncing back. Moving on to the next one, that is what they call a shishito.
It actually has pepper on it on the other side.
Oh, it does?
It does.
Oh, I see it.
Here,
you don't have to smack my camera. You don't have to get mean to me.
I didn't even know I did.
But yeah, I see it over there. And then we got a couple more pepper plants over there growing in the corner. The two back there, little orange bites. And they're doing pretty good. They get a lot of good sun over there. They're starting to grow and produce. I'm assuming that they're going to do a lot better here as we get into end of July, early August. And then this one over here is the poblano pepper. And yes, folks, we are aware of that. They can cross-pollinate. But, you know, why not have a little fun and experiment sometimes? So, funny enough, I want you guys to take a look at this thing here. And if you'd say that's a pumpkin, it absolutely is. It's a pumpkin plant. Can you guess down in the comments which pumpkin plant this is? Well, I'm going to tell you anyways. I'm going to bounce around up to the front of this thing so you guys can see the size of this. And if you guys are curious, how did this happen? Well, the wife saw a little plant inside my, yeah, it's a pretty huge leaf for sure. The wife saw a little plant growing over here in my garden before I started growing. And she picked it and decided just to stick it in the ground because she didn't know what it was. Here we are.
Ta-da.
A seminal pumpkin plant. Decided to hide in the garden from the last year's seminal pumpkin grow. And yeah, it's gone a little bit crazy, if that's what you want to call it. It's huge.
It's got a lot of flowers on it. Look.
Oh yeah.
It's got a lot of growth.
We decided to trellis it because we have some ideas if we start getting pumpkins and
The
whatnot.
only problem we're having is...
But as the wife was telling me, one of the problems that we're having here, and I'll zoom up on there, is those guys right there. Isn't that nice? They don't want me to have pumpkins. They don't want me to have tomatoes. They don't want me to have anything. Lots and lots and lots of those. So we're going to use some BT liquid, or I think it's called Thuricide. There's a couple of variations in that. But yeah, so we're having to go and pick them off. And I'm assuming this is what's attracting the birds in regards to our garden, because they want to eat these. So it's, I guess it's a, I don't know how to explain it. It's just the cycle of life per se. But anyways, moving on from that, this video probably got a lot longer than I expected it to go. She has some jasmine and some other plants growing in here.
Yeah, my summer and snow jasmine and my Asiatic jasmine.
Asiatic and summer and snow, eh?
This is my English thyme.
Well, I'm glad you're out here to tell me, because I have no idea what half this stuff is.
English thyme. This is a blue haze flower. I believe this is our spearmint. Yeah, this is our spearmint. That one over there on that corner is the peppermint.
Peppermint, spearmint. What is this one? What mint was this one? Do you remember?
Those are the same.
Oh, they're the same?
These are both spearmint.
You know, if you ever touch this just for a couple of seconds and then smell your fingers, it smells
Yeah,
just
it
straight
smells
like
amazing.
mint.
I'm gonna clip some off today and dry it out so we can have some mint tea.
Oh, you don't want to have mojitos?
I mean, yeah, that'd be good too.
But anyways, folks, I was noticing the other side of this eggplant, there's all kinds of flowers all over this thing. So she's gonna get ready to start producing heavily in here. And there's another one that the wife is trying to show you there. I can't get it to focus, but yeah. So looking forward to some white eggplants versus the other eggplants. And I'm trying. There's a few other things floating around here that I may have missed. I think she has like tarragon.
There's Mexican tarragon.
Yeah, Mexican tarragon. There we go.
It's not doing so well, but
And what is
purslane?
purslane right there?
It was doing good. I don't know what happened to it.
It's just probably.
I think the birds have been pecking at it.
Well, everybody loves purslane. It's a great medicinal and edible plant.
It's still not doing too bad. Plus the spider mites might have gotten to it a little bit too.
Yeah, we'll make it work. This was, matter of fact, this is the eggplant from last year, right? This was like the cutting or whatnot.
Yeah.
So that was last year's eggplant.
Stick it in there. That should be a black beauty.
Yeah, it is a black beauty. Yeah, it's growing back. You can see it's a little upset because it needs water, but we're going to water after we finish this video here. But goes to show plants have a will to live, no matter what the circumstances may be. So don't ever count them out. Other than that, I'm trying to think, that may be it. But yeah, that's our blueberry, pink lemonade blueberry to be exact. And we've kind of pretty much picked it clean. It did really, really, really good. And they were very tasty. Those seeds didn't grow. And this one, which plant was this? I can't remember. Because it ended up being a hybrid.
It's the old blueberry. Well,
No, I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about it's a basil. Sweet basil. That has intermingled with Thai basil, so it's a hybrid. Yeah, I see the butterfly. They seem to love our garden too. But anyways, I'm trying to see if anything else I'm missing here. And it kind of just jumps from, plant place to plant place. But anything that you can use, keep on letting it grow. And again, the bees love the purple flowers and the seed pods that come in here. Not specifically the seed pods themselves, but the purple flowers. And they help pollinate the rest of the garden. So the wife grabbed my attention over here because we have a lime growing. So,
lemon.
Well, that's a lemon, isn't it? And
this is the key lime, and this plant over here is the Meyer lemon.
Oh, okay, Meyer lemon and key lime. We bought them and wanted to see how they do, and all of a sudden, boom, we have a lemon growing. So, looks a little young to be doing it, but hey, plant's gonna do what a plant's gonna do. Outside of that, I think we've covered most of the plants in the garden and explained the craziness that we're going into, and then we're trying to figure out where we want to put this other bed at. We don't know if we want to put it up front there or if we want to put it over there. We're trying to make that decision here soon because I need to grow my sweet potatoes. It's one of my favorite plants to grow in regards to tubers is the sweet potato. Maybe I'll throw in some purple potatoes in there too. We'll see where it goes. Other than that, folks, I want to thank you guys for spending the afternoon. I'm not sure when you guys will watch this, but it's afternoon for us before we go back to work tomorrow. You know, hanging out and doing this garden tour and kind of giving you a little bit of an update. Other than that, folks, remember, you are not alone. This is GreyMan and Mrs. Grey today, and we'll catch you guys on the rebound. God bless every single one of you amazing folks out there, and thank you again for taking the time to watch this video.